Hey friends, Kevin here with another one of these videos I've been promising that I would bring you for a long time, which is the slide out bed build that's in this minivan you've seen in all these videos. Now, this wasn't done last week, this was done several years back. So this bed, slide out bed for one or two people that will fit in any minivan, has been from coast to coast. It's been to Mexico, it's been to Canada, it has gotten some miles on it. It has gotten many, many, many nights on it. It has worked for us. It can work for you. And the best thing about it is you don't need a lot of tools to put this thing together or a lot of time. It's going to be probably $30 or $40 in parts, just basically a saw and a screwdriver. You can do this. Trust me, I am not a master woodworker of any type. So if I can do this and make it work, you can do it and make it work. Let's get to it. Okay, basic things about this bed build. First of all, there are no sheets of plywood used. Again, you're going to have a complete materials list down in the description. Everything you're going to need. So this stuff is going to be easy to haul. Basically, you're going to be hauling 8-foot long pieces of wood. You're not going to need anything major to put this together. It's nice to have something power-wise, but you can make all of these cuts you're going to need to make, if you absolutely have to, with simply a handsaw. How much does this minivan, camper van, pull-out bed weigh? Let's find out. £29. Third, it's going to be put together with screws. So all you're going to need is a drill with a little screwdriver bit attachment. Any kind of drill, even a rechargeable one, is going to be fine, because this stuff is all basically pine. It's a really soft wood. Screws will go into it really quick. It also doesn't hurt if you have a little drill bit, so you can pre-drill your hole before you put the screw down in it. That just keeps soft wood from splitting. But that's it. You're going to need very few things. So let's get into how I did it. The legs here on the corners are 2x4s. The actual frame itself is 2x2s. These are basically what you will often find referred to as furring strips. They'll be 8 foot long. They will come in a pack or a bundle. Sometimes it's 12 in a pack, sometimes it's 20 in a pack. It just depends on what store is selling them to you. But they're very cheap. Each one of these sections that are 8 foot will cost you about $1. Your 2x2s here to go around are just going to cost you a few dollars for an 8 foot 2x2. An 8 foot 2x4 is going to run you, about $4. So very, very inexpensive. And the reason I did it so inexpensively, because I'd never done it before. I had a basic ideal in case it crapped out and I had to start over. Yes, there's things I would do slightly differently, but this has worked. This has worked for 3 years now. Coast to coast, 2 people, several times, bunch of small trips in between. These slats are 26 inches. You're going to get 3 of these out of an 8 foot board and have a little piece left over. So if we start counting up through here, there's 1 board, 2 boards, 3 boards, 4 boards, 5 boards, 6 boards, 7 boards, 8 boards. So you're going to need at least 8 foot of these. And like I said, these usually come in packs of at least 12, the way they're bundled up. Your screws going from the slats into the frame, you're going to use 1.5 or 1 3/4. Your screws going from the frame into the actual legs, I would use the biggest ones I could get by with, so 2.5 or 3 inch. Now my height coming from the floor to the top of this frame is only about 7.5 inches. And the reason why is I have very small crates. I wanted as much room as possible once the mattress is on here to be able to sit up on this thing like you've seen in other videos. So it's very low profile. You can build this higher if you want to, but you're not going to be able to sit up in bed if you do that. And you're also, as higher you build this to put bigger crates under it, is going to put you closer in your face, closer to the ceiling of your van. So I like to have space, the wide open space. I like to be able to sit up at night. I like to be able to sit on the edge of the bed with the doors open. And I can do all that by keeping this low profile and still have storage space underneath. Lengthwise, I went 72 inches on this frame. The mattress is going to be a couple inches longer. You get into mattresses sometimes are 75 inches, but an inch or two hanging off the mattress over the frame does not make a difference when you're dealing with these mattresses. So what you're going to end up with is a 72-inch piece for your frame underneath, a 72-inch for the frame. You can see right here where I'm touching on the other side. Width-wise for the frame is about 24 inches. And notice we have our slats cut right around 26. That gives us some overhang in both directions, since we're using these 2x2s. Let's get this apart so it makes a little more sense here. So now you can see 2x4s on the end, 2x2s in the middle for the legs. Again, this doesn't have to be exactly spaced out. You could have done 2x4s here instead of these 2x2s will be fine. It's whatever you want to do. The 2x2s worked for me and gave me room to get my crates in between each one of these sections. That's why I didn't go with 2x4s. But it is plenty stable enough even with 2x2s in the middle. And again, this is all it is to it. You're going to offset these every few inches just so they can go together almost like your fingers would. Because wood will swell and sweat and bend with temperature changes, you don't want to have these jammed together really tight like this. Otherwise, you're going to have problems putting this together, taking it apart. So you want to make sure that you have a little gap in between. So on this side, basically we have yet another 2x2 and another set of legs. And just so it doesn't completely fall apart, it's fine for it to come down, but so it doesn't bounce up in the air when we're trying to put it together, we have this little piece of wood, and this was just a few of those scrap pieces that I used underneath. So when you jiggle it back together, that is basically what you end up with. Now, the one problem I had, again, I was new, didn't know what I was doing, was this became a little bit of a pain sometimes to get these to jump up over that end rail, and would require me to grab it in a couple places and pop it here in a couple places and try to get it down under here in a couple of places. So we're going to take care of those issues right now with a little sander. Okay, now the reason I sanded these fine edges is so these boards could go together, catch and go together just a tad bit easier. Something like that. Again, solid enough to hold my fat little butt. So with this thing slid together, you're going to be about 26.5 to 27 inches wide. With it pulled apart, room here to do this, with it pulled apart, you are going to be about 46 inches, 47 inches. And remember, I told you on these minivans, you are usually 48 inches between the wheel wells. You're about 54 inches at your widest point. So staying under 48 inches wide when this is pulled out is your goal. So for 2 people, that will allow you to pop 2 of these single mattresses on here, 1 on each side. If you happen to be going solo, like I do sometimes, then obviously I only need to take 1 mattress with me. And I can have this put together then as a single bed. Mattresses are linked in the description. You can have a soft side or a rough side up. 75-inch mattress. About 25 inches wide. Yeah. Couple of pillows, cut that light out. I can sleep good. So this is the way I chose to do it. Hopefully you can follow this. You can do the exact same thing. You can modify it. Don't be afraid of it. If you do something wrong, something that just doesn't work, take it back apart. It's no big deal. That's why you want to use screws, so you can easily take things back apart. Make modifications. You get it the way you want it. If you feel like you need a little more, something to make it a little sturdier, then you can add a couple of little corner braces, metal braces here and there, and do that. We didn't need to. This is more than secure enough for us. Try to get you guys a view of the underside. This rail and this rail are your main frames. This one beside of it is going to be the pull-out part that would slide out. If you feel like you need it to be a little more stable, you can always run your board from here to here. You can run your board on the other end. You can run you 1 board in the middle if you felt like you really needed it. Again, this will hold a couple of 200-pound people easily. It's been Budget Travel Guy tested from coast to coast. But you can see my handiwork. There's nothing special about this. There's nothing special about this at all. The day I threw this together, it probably took 30 or 40 minutes. That's it. Threw it in the van. That's it. I did stick a board like this on the end that went across the van. What was held with 2 screws. So at the very back, it would give me a separate compartment from the things that I put in the back. The stove, the 5-gallon water bottle, the toilet. And I would be able to strap anything down back there that I needed to by strapping it to that board. But by having that board run all the way across and secured to the bed leg here, even when I have this put together for just 1 person, I have that board coming all the way across, and it just keeps my stuff behind it from sliding forward while I'm driving down the highway. So there's very simple solutions to any problem that you run into. So I hope you got something out of this minivan bed build out video for the slide out bed. And the main thing is being that it's just not hard. Anybody can do it. If I can do it with the little talent that I have for woodworking, trust me, you can do this. You can make it work for you. I'd love to hear your comments down below. If you have any questions, put those down in the comment section. We'll get to some other van and travel videos. We'll talk soon.